It's Friday night recap time. Welcome to the show. There's my man Diggsy. Kenny, I feel like I just seen you. Oh wait, I did just see you. We all were at the same game. Let's talk about that one because that game was something special, man. I had shut it down, and I had no reason to shut it down because Anna was up by 3 touchdowns. We were at Anna and Prosper Walnut Grove. They were up 3 scores. Shut the camera down, shooting the stuff with Kenny. All of a sudden, a turnover here, turnover there. And we got ourselves a ball game, and Walnut Grove came back, and they played great clock management there at the end and ended up getting the last-second touchdown, winning the thing 45-38, remaining undefeated after being down 38-17. That was a heck of a game, right, boys?
I think Giggs and I were talking about at the end of the game. We thought the huge play was the scramble from Hackney right before the third quarter was over, and he hit the big bomb down the sidelines. That gave them a lot of momentum. It gave them some mojo. And then major props to their defense. They may have stumped for 2.5 quarters, but, boy, they were rock solid for the last 14 minutes of that game.
Just thinking that as I was driving home, I said they couldn't stop nothing for 2.5 quarters, and then they stopped everything after that.
Yeah. Kenny likes to give props to, the actual football players. Let's give props to those athletic trainers because finding a way to keep Hayes Hackney in the game when he couldn't basically move at some point. Cam Newton ran the ball 40 times. It was just a wear down effect. I mean, we're waiting for that cold front tomorrow, but it's still warm out there and it's intense. And the fact that they ran 90 plays in that game and were able to gut it out, I think has to do with that 6A depth that we keep talking about. They got 2,500 students in their school right now at 582. So they got a little bit more depth, and I think that really kind of wore out Anna by the second half.
And another thing is that easy schedule they had coming up to it where they only played a half and he gets 9 carries a game. The 40 carries doesn't bother him because he's got the 9 carries. And you look at his stats, he had 3.28 yards per carry. It's not like he was tearing things up. Right. He got a little bit here, a little bit there. But he just kept at it. He kept getting popped, and he kept at it. And that has a lot to do with the way he keeps himself together and the way they kept him managed throughout the first 6 games of the year by only having to carry it 9 times. All right, let's get through some scores. What do you say there, boys? 3-6A, Kenny. What do you think here?
Mansfield again. I mean, we've been saying it the last few weeks, haven't we? I mean – big win on the road. Big win on the – I mean, I know it's not really a road game, but, that's a big win. And, I mean, obviously now Crowley, are we going to bring out the shovels?
Are you shoveling them out, Kenny? What do you think?
They still got the final, basically one last chance, when it comes to, I think they got to play Mansfield Legacy. I think that's going to be for your 4th playoff spot, and they're going to have to do enough in that game. But it's starting to look pretty bad. North Crowley absolutely dominant, 70-7. Mansfield looks like they might be figuring something out. Crowley, man.
Right?
Yeah, defensively, the last couple of weeks. Remember, they got that 28-14 game last week, 2 pick-sixes when they beat Crowley in that game, and Lake Ridge holds on. That game was a blowout, but Crowley was some window dressing late.
Yeah, exactly. 4-6A, guess who's back for Trinity? JT David Harris is back in the lineup. He's been sitting out here and there because of nagging injuries, and he was back 270 yards, 4 touchdowns, and they got 681 yards of total offense on homecoming. My ex-wife was there with her whole crew. She's been playing this the whole time. They got to see all that mess. Even though Angelo Renda threw a couple picks, they did win by 50, so I guess it didn't bother them that much. And then on Thursday night, Keller Cincher with the huge win over LD Bell, which puts Bell in shovel land just about, and they're starting to hit the downward spiral again like we talked about they did a couple years back.
I think, Ward, we talked about it. LD Bell does not like prosperity. No. They just do not, man. They want to claw and do it the hard way year after year after year. And, boy, not a good one last night.
And we'll break it down on the dump, but it looks like it's going to be Keller versus Northwest Eaton now for that last playoff spot just because the way things work out. There is a scenario, though, where we could have 5 or 6 teams tied at 3 and 5. So crazy stuff in District 4-6A. And, Ward, I told you on the campfire, I told you in text messages during this game, and I betrayed myself. I picked against Coppell, and what do?
What they do is they cause 6 turnovers, 6, and win this thing 41-23. Unbelievable effort there. The Zingelman and Jaden George both ran for 140 plus. That was something else. Another stellar night for Caden Cobbs over there for Geyer. Flower Mound loses, but my son's buddy Jordan Olive, who's a linebacker, found a way to score a touchdown from the 1. So I got to give him props. Man, he spent more time at my house than I did back in the day. Hebron with the big win over Little Elm, but yeah, Capel putting themselves back in the map, and now we got 3 teams fighting for that number 1 spot.
You forgot to score. Let's go ahead and say it, buddy.
What did I miss? Hebron over Little Elm?
No. How about Denton Braswell?
I talked about that. My buddy scored.
Yeah, he did say
told about that. We talked about my buddy scoring the touchdown. And who got the 7? The 7 came from my boy Jordan Olive.
Okay.
No. Marcus took a big injury, by the way, in that game. Colton Nussmeier went down, looked like some knee issues, and I don't know if he's going to be back the rest of this year. And they're already on the outside looking in, but that's a sad way to finish thing up. The Mound Showdown's next week too.
Absolutely.
All right, big wins for Allen and Prosper. Who was shocked? Anybody? Raise your hand if you were shocked, and keep your hands down. Plano took out McKinney Boyd, and then Rock Hill, after a 0-0 half, ended up taking out Plano East. Anything you want to say about that, Dixie?
What can you – 5 turnovers, Ward. You can't do that. They have 13 turnovers. Yes, Alonzo, Denton Braswell. You can't have minus 13 turnovers in district. That just doesn't work. Doesn't work.
But
Allen Prosper next week. It almost feels like it's not next week. I mean, but I mean, it is next week. We've been waiting for it for so long, and we're gonna finally get it. We'll be breaking it down. Game of the week, Ward, next week. Are you just gonna go ahead?
It is the game of the week. Yeah,
it is the game of the week.
Pat Doney's taking it, but it is the game of the week. He'll be there. And by the way, our boy Jeremiah Dowd sure found a home there at Allen. You get around talented players, and all of a sudden your talent comes out. 236 and 4 touchdowns tonight.
Do we put a shovel in the East? I just want to know.
Yeah, okay. That one's out.
The shovel's there.
Most of these, I mean, Richardson winning by 60 is pretty surprising. But how about the Lake Highlands Berkner game? And that's a rivalry game, and Lake Highlands was up 24-6 in that game, but they did let them come back, and it was a nip and tuck there at the end.
That's very surprising. Very surprising. I'm not sure what Rhodes did in that game, but we'll ask him tomorrow.
We will. He's on the show tomorrow. Excellent.
A tale of 2 rivalries, because that was 50-6 at one point in the first half with Richardson and Pierce.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be much more competitive, but Pierce looks like they've cranked it down. We got our 4 playoff teams in here. Richardson, this version of Richardson over the last 3 weeks, getting that momentum against the Irving schools, they look like they could be a serious contender for maybe the number 3 spot now that they've already lost to Berkner. But Lake Highlands, Berkner, again, when you got Wildcat Ram naming rights on the line, they play hard.
I won't look too far into that score just because of that rivalry factor. And Richardson takes on Jesuit next week. Go ahead.
I think Jesuit scored a month's worth of scoring last night.
Oh, Federico. What a night for Federico.
Name, Ward.
6 touchdowns. My guy. Well, your guy this week. But Federico, what do we got? 107 receiving, 161 rushing, 6 touchdowns. They beat Martin again. Go ahead and put Martin out to pasture. They're not going to make it. South Grand Prairie with another shutout win. That's 2 in a row. Well, no, they gave up 3, didn't they, to Lamar? I can't remember.
They didn't like their rival tonight.
Oh, yeah, it was 53-0. Now it's 54-0. And then Bowie and Arlington was a heck of a game. Last minute of the game, Jaden Bibbs finds Jaden Harper, 91-yard touchdown pass with a minute left in the game to win that one. It's a game I was kind of expecting to win by a couple scores. That puts up a nice game against Haltom next week at Choctaw. So that was an impressive win there. And, boy, I got to get out to see Arlington at some point. The Colts deserve to be on the airwaves.
Scott Peach, is doing fantastic work over there. One of the longest tenured. Okay, what? That's a Berkner comment. That's a Berkner comment. The Queen has requested her props. I guess losing is where we need props these days. What
Jay
kind
Dissel
of
says
victory
no
world are we in where we're happy we lost by 5? Okay, congratulations, Berkner.
And we're not hating on Berkner either.
Woo!
We're not hating on Berkner. I don't think there's any hate, is there?
Hey,
we love Berkner.
Coach's wife wants you to give her some props, man. Give them to her.
She deserves it. But we're talking about 8-6A. Arlington Lamar, with a good bounce back win over Sam Houston. But again, it looks like South Grand Prairie is finally getting in their lane. 8-6A. I'm just sitting here thinking about that Keller Timber Creek game. Keller Timber Creek may not win a game this year, and that was 42-42 late in the fourth quarter when they called it. And who knows what would have happened? But South Grand Prairie, it's what you do late, Ward, that matters.
That is
and when
true.
we talk about what you're doing late,
it's
not Wiley.
110 points, I think, in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not bad.
Yeah, Wiley's done. That's a wrap on Wiley. We
got a shovel for Wiley.
Put Wiley out. And then Rowlett with the big win on Thursday. By the way, these were all 5 o'clock games. I actually went to the Wiley East Name and Forest game, and I was home in time to watch whatever the CW game was, plus read up on some Houston scores, all sorts of stuff I was doing Thursday I never get to do.
Big win for Rowlett. It's a big win for Rowlett, though.
Yeah, exactly. Huge win. They got Wiley East next Thursday, and with a very poor Thursday schedule, that may be the one Diggs goes to. I doubt it, though. Knowing Diggs, he'll probably go.
We got a game out in Fort Worth that's worth seeing. I bet we do.
You got OD White and Pascal. You interested in that one?
I might be.
Here comes the Brewer talk.
Yes,
getting in early. How about that 40 game? That thing went back and forth. They were down 22-0. They scored 28 in the second quarter. They gave up the lead with under a minute to go. They get it right back with 13 seconds with J.O. getting in from the 2-yard line. Speaking of J.O., Javian Osborne, 204 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also got 33 carries. I tell you what, it's the time of year where if you got a workhorse, you work with that horse. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I think Diggs said it 2 weeks ago. When we think what this district's going to be like, just wait till the following week. It doesn't matter, dude. I mean, that's a huge win, though, for Forney. Huge win.
And Roy City was competitive with Rockwall Heath. That game was a one-score game, a majority of the game. But, man, Rockwall blowing that lead. We talked about a really good team is not making the playoffs out of this district. I think it's going to be, the orange and white of the Yellow Jacket land because it's – I mean, they got to beat North Forney and Rockwall Heath at this point, and that's just looking very, very
and I said last week too, the teams that have a bye in that week, they're just itching to get back out there because they don't want to fall any further behind than what's going on. How about the defense from Waxahachie tonight? They shut out Cedar Hill, held them to 84 yards total rushing. Cohen Brown with 3 touchdowns, the Texas commit. Skyline with a kind of a surprise win over there in Mesquite. I know that's not having anything to do with the playoff fixture there. Are you worried that DeSoto gave up 30, Dixie? Or does it not bother you?
I'll have to read into it a little bit. I mean, DeSoto's still probably feeling a little bit of the lingering effects of that Duncanville game. But, I mean, it's still going to be looking at these 10-6A versus 11-6A games. How's it going to be Longview and DeSoto, potentially second, fourth round? I mean, so I think they're going to be okay. It's just going to be those big marquee games. Duncanville beating Lancaster the way they did, a little surprising for me. I thought that at least Lancaster would score a little bit more.
Huh. I thought Lancaster would score more, but solid effort after beating your rival the week before. That's pretty good focus for next week.
I feel like Duncanville's clicking now. I think their quarterback's confident. Obviously, Diggs doesn't think I know anything about Duncanville because he totally brushed off my prediction he brushed over my freaking prediction and then beating DeSoto like I was some sort of
special. Well, say what's the quarterback's name at
Maximus Stinson. And
say his full name, Ward.
I don't have to say everybody's middle name, do I? All right, let's take a look at some scores here. Richland, another big game from Jay Sean Gibson, 205 yards, 3 touchdowns. Where's my Brewer guy at? There it is. Big win over Birdville. Okay, so
do not disrespect Mr. Feaster, by the way.
No, hey, I know Booby's dad. I know Booby's dad.
No. Offense is on point.
We're good like that. He wanted him to play defense. Is he playing defense? No, because he's too great a receiver. Ryan got a big might out of Rontavian Brown, by the way. He's a guy I hadn't really heard of that much. 195 yards for him against Hazel on the ground. So go ahead.
I know Richland gives up a lot of points, but giving up 40 to Granbury is that a little alarming?
And the quarterback for Granbury threw 3 picks. So Look at that. Legend threw for 362 and 4. Man, he's hooking us up with some statistics.
There you go. Appreciate it, Mr. Feaster.
I've been telling you, I am very, very worried about Richland because they're up and down, and I feel like Alito, just kind of like when we're going to get to the Highland Park Joshua game, I think they're just going to get thumped at a different level when they play a really good defense.
When they play Alito next week at home. Does that mean anything to you? But then playing them at home, it doesn't matter.
That's a brick.
But big win for Brewer over Birdville. That game was back and forth the whole time. Birdville had a defensive player of the week nominee, but Brewer just a little bit too much. Honestly, I think Brewer, is fortunate to get out of there because Birdville was on the goal line throwing into the end zone to win that game. So big goal line stand for Brewer, but I don't think it should have been that close. Birdville stuck in it, and Brewer kind of stubbed their own toe to keep it, to be a one-score game pretty much the whole thing. But man, they won, and that's the big thing. That's kind of that buffer win. Brewer, the playoff Bears, Ward.
The playoff Bears, man. The Brewer fans coming out from the woodworks.
Every week in this district, I feel like, and we got a bonus game this week, by the way, because apparently we got Keene and Trimble Tech. So we'll bump that up a little bit. Every week, something crazy happens in this district.
That Saginaw Pasco game was something else. You follow those weeks. Pasco was up big at the half, and then they threw 3 pick sixes in the second half, and Saginaw pulls it off in overtime. Man, oh days, that's absolutely amazing. That's a tough win for Saginaw. They got it. Arlington Heights, they got a little injury with Carson James, but I think he must have came back in there. 60 points against O.D. Wyatt. O.D. Wyatt plays Pasco next Thursday. Diggs, you going? Diggs?
I think I might need to go check that game out just because the up and down. I mean, the fact that Pascal played with Saginaw after losing to Chisholm Trail by 3 scores, and then we have O.D. Wyatt who had beaten Saginaw, who just lost to Arlington Heights by 26.
Right.
We got to go calibrate this district.
Wow. You got to let your eyes do the talking, right? All right, let's go to 5A Division 1. We saw Kenny, were you up at the Wakeland Frisco game?
Absolutely, man.
Tell me how that thing went down.
Wakeland, very fortunate. I mean, from the third quarter, about midway through the fourth quarter, Frisco outplayed them. They got they had a fumble at the 3-yard line. They had a 3-and-out short field. And Wakeland, man, I'm telling you, that Maples, he's really good. And he was able to maneuver a drive all the way down. They scored 3 seconds left on the TD. I thought Frisco should have allowed the Cole kid to score earlier, kind of like the game we were at today. They give him some time to go down the field, but they didn't. Big win, though, for Wakeland. I mean, it sets up a huge game next week against those old Rangers of Lone Star. Whoever wins district.
And 1 year anniversary of one of the craziest finishes we've ever seen on an upset, by the way, because, I mean, Lone Star was kind of – I felt like the same way I do this week going into that Wakeland has no chance in that game, and then all of a sudden just the absolute chaotic ending.
Let's give him his props. Austin Brown, he's the one who brought that thing back. He's still there. Maybe he can do it again. Go ahead with Reedy.
But Reedy is playing some defense in a district that there's not much defense in. Shout out to Lebanon Trail beating Frisco Heritage. I know that's a big win for them as a program. Frisco Heritage is having a lot of problems, but still Lebanon Trail is taking that next step upward. We talk about it all the time, taking those steps in Lebanon Trail. They're not going to be a playoff team. It's still going to, I think, come down to Frisco versus McKinney North for that last playoff spot, but it's still fun to watch them take those steps.
Okay, Kenny, this is your district, man. Give it to me.
Well, it sets it all. Well, I mean, my team beats their arch rival 52-0 tonight. Yes, I'm wearing the green gold later on tomorrow for sure. The shutout is what surprises me there. I didn't think that they would shut out our old Turner. Creekview sets it all up for I believe it's in North. It's
West Mesquite. It's West Mesquite. Good on good next week.
Yep, it's next week, man. So it sets it up for the first showdown, I guess, because the following week there'll be the next showdown between West Mesquite and Newman Smith. So I think everybody just kind of holds serve here. But W2 White, they had to get healthy again. They've been taking on a couple of chin the last couple of times. Will they hold on with North Mesquite? I'm not sure.
We'll have to see.
Going to be interesting. That's the last spot.
I thought Joshua played good against Highland Park. Yeah, they lost by 3 scores, but that's still something. And then Red Oak had some issues with Cleveland. And I don't think that Tyler loss is very good right there to Burleson.
That is the big news in District 7-5A is Tyler, after beating Joshua, beating Red Oak, all of a sudden now loses to Burleson Centennial and loses by 17. We're going to have to get our tiebreakers out for this district, because now Burleson Centennial with a big signature win. Tyler High, they just got overwhelmed very much. From what I saw in some of the highlights, there were a couple of onside kicks. There was some crazy stuff. Burleson Centennial got up on them 21-0 and just could not overcome that deficit like they did against Highland Park. So big win for Burleson Centennial. I don't think they're a playoff team, but that really hurts Tyler High's chances.
And you go into this district, man, there are some head scratches there, man. Summit and Argyle went down to the wire, man. And
overtime.
Argyle pulled it off. Overtime in the Colleyville Heritage Seguin game. Yep. And they were doing a thing that we talked about on the deal. Colleyville scored first, kicked the extra point. Seguin scored, went for two. Agree or disagree? Diggs, go.
No, I don't like it there. We keep talking about it. You gotta extend the game right now, because you have to go for two. Save that and let your defense have one more chance.
Bodie Weaver with a big game in that game. It was huge.
It's a game was up 19-0 in that game. Yes. I saw that highlight. I got that score early update. I'm like, okay, here's Seguin, and then just could not hold on. And then Argyle with a late score on Summit. Summit looks like, again, Ward, just think about this. We got 3-5A versus 4-5A. We're going to get to 4-5A in a second. Yeah. In the first round, no matter how you're going to toss this up, it is banger after banger when these teams play each other in the first round. And I thought we were going to have a finality in this game.
We thought we were going to have Emerson. We thought we were going to see Emerson in Argyle, but it looks like it's Lovejoy in Argyle. And I don't really think, if Argyle gets the one, I don't think Argyle really cares, to be honest with you, because I don't know how these two teams are playing. But that was a heck of a comeback by Lovejoy. They could have packed that thing up. I know Todd Dodds doesn't do that mess. They could have. That Melissa game was done before we even got to the third quarter, so I think they ran that clock.
Were they rolling clock in the second quarter of that game?
They had to do something there. And, of course, we talked about the Walnut Grove game, but that comeback from Lovejoy, because they almost gave that thing up. That's the end of the season. They lose that one. Yep. And now it's the end of the season for Emerson.
Fourth and goal from the 16. Jacob Janisek makes a little bit of magic in that game. But the way Lovejoy is playing, the way they played in that game, I'm not going to finalize this, because I feel like Denison has a puncher's chance against Lovejoy right now. And they could get into a three-way tie with Emerson, Lovejoy, and Denison. So I'm not closing out this district yet, but big win. We already talked about Walnut Grove and Anna. Just a lot of heart out of that. Anna's going to have to go on the road.
They're going to be a third-place team, and that's a third-place team ain't nobody want to see, because they had that Walnut Grove game for the longest time, and they just didn't get it.
And we saw what happened last year when they played Colleyville Heritage. I think a lot of people are going to be trying to get out of that second spot, because I don't know if you want to see Anna.
I've been waiting for these scores. Samuel takes on Woodrow Wilson next week. Samuel got another nice win. And how about Hillcrest over Seagoville? You like that one? Kenny, talk to me.
It surprises me that Hillcrest scored 29 points. I think that's what surprises me more than anything else. I have to look at the stats to see if there's any defensive touchdowns or short fields, because Hillcrest is not an offensive juggernaut by any stretch.
Hey, Hillcrest with wins over Samuel and Seagoville. Those are big for them. I think they're going to end up second in that district.
Samuel gets Wilson next week, and Seagoville gets Sutton. Terrell with another big point spread over Ennis. It's funny that when Dixie puts out his predictions and he has these ridiculous high point scores, and he's almost always there right on the nose. I know the Thursday ones, there's like two of them where he picked at 45 points and they're like 44. So he knows what he's talking about. And Heritage gives a loss to Crandall. Finally, Crandall gets their first loss this season there, I believe. Kaufman, we already counted them out, but goodness gracious, they can't lose to Mesquite by that much. Mesquite.
They heard they got the shovel and decided, well, we're done. Might as well go ahead and get ready for basketball.
I'm going to get the shovel. I'm shoveling out.
Now we got to start thinking about Corsicana previews. Like Corsicana beat Ennis? That's a rivalry game. Corsicana Ennis, can they slide into the fourth spot, which would be huge for Eugene over there at Corsicana? But big wins for Mesquite, Poteet, and Corsicana going into things. You ready to talk some small school?
Let's do small school. We got a couple minutes. Talk to me. Where's the Castleberry will be coming up. That Castleberry win was a shocker to me. But we'll get to that one. Sometimes when Decatur got put in this district, they're like, "This is." We have any 8th graders who want to play on my squad because you're going to score in these games, man.
Well, at least there was one football game in that score, Eastern Hills, and at least that was one football.
There it is. How about Castleberry over Carrollton Ranch? That was a big win right there.
Big win at Standards, yes.
And the game we kind of talked about that was going to be important. I haven't gotten to read all of Steps' coverage on that game. I saw Sulphur Springs got up big on Paris, but then Paris came back, and then Sulphur Springs hangs on. I hear that their quarterback might be back for the playoffs, so we're thinking a good thought for that. But I'm a little bit surprised, Ward, at Panther Creek not dominating Lake Dallas.
Yes, absolutely.
That is true. That was only 18-point game. Yeah, that is kind of a shot. And their quarterback's back, Braylon Fry's back, and they still didn't. They still didn't stick it to him. We got this Oak Cliff Super Bowl coming up tomorrow at 2. Y'all need to catch that joint out, Kimball and Carter. But Lincoln went ahead and took care of the whatever Super Bowl that is, beat the crap out of Wilbur Hutchins. Looked like the Super Bowls my Redskins were in back in the day, just blowing teams out.
Graham, Bridgepoint, goodness.
Well, Eagle Mountain's back on their winning ways. They got away from Brock, and now they're back to winning.
Wow.
I'm telling you, folks, Glen Rose is a sleeping giant the way they played. They started out 0-5, but that game against Alvarado that they lost 55-50 showed us where their ceiling can be, and they have started to dominate this district. And Benbrook, I'm going to probably hear from the Benbrook coaches because every time I pick against them and then they have a big win like they did against Godley, I hear from them. I deserve it, but man, big win for Benbrook over Godley.
Absolutely.
Cato Mills with the big win, too.
The Country Roads went down there because Farmersville was up 10-8 at the half, and not the second half, it just got away.
And Crum comes back and beats Sanger.
Yeah. Who's been on the Crum bandwagon all year?
You have. I've been on the Sanger one, and you've been on the Crum one, so I'll take it on the chin.
Kenny's been talking about the Sunnyvale game all night, man. Somebody got them riled up.
Probably Dixie, who's given them the shovel already. They didn't like that.
No, they didn't like that at all.
We saw the Peaster comment a little bit earlier. They just fell a little bit short to Paradise. That's tough. Peaster was on the precipice, had an opportunity to upset. We may see that game again, Paradise and Peaster in the playoffs, because kind of a weak Region 1. So other than Jim Neds, we'll find out what happens there. So big win for Paradise to hold on to Peaster. And what is up with Grandview? Like, we just blink, they lose by 40, win by 50, just week in, week out. We don't know what we're going to get with Grandview.
My man Danny Vaughn and them boys, they had a lot of stats in that game. Granville tonight.
That was the game I wanted to go to right there. I decided to go to Wiley East instead, but I really wanted to go down to Pleasant Grove Stadium and see Madison and Life Oak Cliff because
that would have been a good game.
I probably should have went there now that I think about it because that Wiley East thing lasted 5 seconds before I was like, I shouldn't be here. Need to get out of here.
Some more 60 burgers too down there.
Palmer with the big win over Whitesboro. They needed that to bounce back.
And
your boys from Commerce with the big win.
I think we got a little extra fourth quarter scoring in there just because the coach saw that they got nominated for player of the for on my team. So I hope we got a little bit of extra juice on that.
And Dixie's team Tolar with the bounce back.
They needed that.
Yes.
Because they've been struggling.
Holiday, man, taking in minutes.
Look at that. Valley View. We have a score.
Valley View got a point. Hey, that's left. That means there's
folks.
2 teams left in all of Texas that haven't scored.
And
while we're doing this, I'm going to check if one of the Houston teams is one if they actually scored today, but I don't know if I can find it. Yeah, I ain't going to find it. But Spring is the other one.
Gary Rosser, nice. Over Gateway.
And then Trinity Leadership, they look like they could be the real deal.
Yes.
In our final minute, let's
talk in your rankings, right?
They've been in my rank. They're number 3 in my rankings.
Yep.
Wolf City with a big bounce back over Tom Bean. And why do I pick Lindsay every week? I can just tell you they go ahead. They lost. Like every week I just.
Lindsay's really let you down this year. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Look at that.
Collinsville got him this week.
Munster.
Munster's starting a new era, but there goes Lindsey. Collinsville's a good squad, though. I don't know why you keep picking against them.
We got to make sure we tell them that Parish Episcopal with the big win over Liberty Christian tonight, too.
That's right. They were up like 35-7.
The Diggs family, we're done.
Novikov is going to have him a nice cold one tonight.
All right, welcome to the dump. See you guys later.